So I just clocked out of work and I decided that I wanted to do something to relax, to really unwind for the day. I wanted to show that to you, something that I'm using to build confidence, something that I'm using to build self-efficacy, to lower stress and anxiety. You probably already know what it is based on the thumbnail for this, but it's a quick at-home workout. So let's go ahead and I'll show you what I do on an almost daily basis. So what I do on a pretty regular basis is that thing right there. It is a rowing machine. I bought it off of Amazon. It's pretty cheap. I think it was around $250, so I think that's cheap for an at-home rowing machine. I do that quite a bit, but that's not what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing something that I think is faster, a little bit more intense, and should, in theory, release more stress, more anxiety, and make me feel more confident towards the end of it. And it's going to be something to do with what's in this bag, and also this kettlebell right here. And so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so why do I like the gymnastic rings so much is, one, they are relatively cheap when it comes to at-home gym equipment. Two, you can transport them anywhere. Right now I have them just hanging up on this garage port that I just kind of bolted some things to, and so now I can just like hang the rings up. And three, you can get such a good workout with this, and they're really fast to do. So instead of traveling 15 minutes to go to the gym and then working out there, I can hang these up in like 3 to 5 minutes, even maybe like 3 minutes, and then I can jump into my workout right away. In fact, you can see I haven't even changed out of my normal clothes that I wear on a regular basis. I'm still wearing like pants and just normal shoes. And that's what I like to do, because I just like to dive in and then just kind of pound out that workout. So let's go ahead and do it right here. So I'll take a mid-workout break just to explain why this is going to help your self-confidence. So the first thing is, when you do any sort of exercise, whether it be running or gymnastics rings or kettlebells or yoga, really anything that's getting your body moving, it's like adding stress to your body. And when you can overcome that, especially if you say, hey, I'm gonna do 5 repetitions of this thing, and you actually hit that 5 repetitions, you feel proud of yourself. You feel like, oh wow, I set out to do this goal and then I crushed it. And so in a workout like this, where I'm doing, I don't know, 100 different reps of various things, if you add them all together, that's like 100 different victories that I'm experiencing. And so with each time I do a rep, I get a little bit more confident, a little bit more confident. So that's why you feel so good at the end of a workout. You feel so accomplished. That's also why it can help with relieving stress too. The way it helps with stress is, you can imagine that you are fighting a war. And if you've ever been on the losing side of any sort of battle, whether it be if you're playing some team game and you just keep losing all the time and you're just like absolutely sick of it and it's really just kind of dragging you down, when you finally do get that victory, get that success, all that stress you've been experiencing seems to dissipate a little bit, and maybe even a lot. It boosts morale and it makes you more able to tackle future battles. And so that's why it's so important. And the other reason that it's so important to do some sort of exercise when you're feeling stressed is it burns off some of that energy, some of that anxious anxiety that's just building up over time. And then everyone knows that when you exercise, it releases all sorts of endorphins and feel-good chemicals in your body to counteract some of that stuff. And so when I was not working out at the start of all of this crisis, this pandemic and quarantine, cause I had just kind of stopped going to the jiu-jitsu gym and the weightlifting gym, and I was no longer working out because I didn't have this at-home routine that I'm doing now. I noticed my stress creeping up higher and higher and higher and higher because I had no way to burn off that energy. And finally, when I started doing my at-home workout again, got my gymnastic rings out, broke out the kettlebell, and things have gotten infinitely better ever since I started doing that. And one thing I wanted to point out about these gymnastic rings that I really like is they cause you to work all of these stabilizing muscles. And so something like a dip that you saw me doing earlier, just kind of raising myself up like this, well, that's pretty easy doing it on stable bars, and I can actually pound out quite a few of them. When you're doing them on these rings, there's so much instability going on that's causing all sorts of different muscles to work that don't normally have to work. And so I can't do nearly as many. And the same thing with life and what you're going through right now is, even though there's so much uncertainty in the world, the type of uncertainty you're not used to dealing with, especially maybe if you're in quarantine and you're at home for weeks on end, maybe even months on end, what it might end up being towards the end of this, you're having to stretch yourself mentally in ways you're not used to. But it's just like you're working those stabilizing muscles in your body. You're going to become better in certain ways as long as you use it as an opportunity to get better. And you don't take on too much all at once. So definitely be kind to yourself, catch yourself succeeding, and consume things that are going to inspire you and help you along rather than make you feel bad or guilty in some way. Can you just be there? I would love it if you were there. Just stay. Stay. Of course. Stay. One thing I want you to know is that you don't have to come out of this quarantine or this self-isolation as a Superman or Superwoman or just super in general. You can just simply use this as a time to relax, to refocus, to recharge yourself in some way. There's lots of memes on social media out there going, if you're don't come out of this quarantine way stronger than before, then you're doing it wrong. Well, you can hear my cat meowing in the background. And my cat's just chilling all the time. Teddy bear. I want you to know that it's your life and you can lead it however you want. I have found, though, that working out a little bit and being more productive than usual is giving my mind something to focus on. I'm kind of viewing it like an astronaut going to Mars. An astronaut would be isolated or maybe only be able to talk to a few different people if they were going to Mars, which would take months and months and months with a traditional spacecraft. So what would they do to focus their time? They would probably focus on scientific experiments and doing different things to keep themselves busy. And that's kind of the mentality that I'm taking. That's not always how I've done it. In the very first beginning of this quarantine, I was pretty lazy and I was just kind of doing whatever I could not to be productive. But now I'm finding that it's really helpful to work out, to work on projects, record videos like this, record podcasts like on my Shut Up Brain podcast. It's just very helpful for me. And so I want to know, what are your tips? What are you finding to be particularly helpful during this self-isolation, this quarantine? And what sort of tips can you share with me and the other people that read? Because I'm super curious. And as always, make sure you catch yourself succeeding. Have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna go finish my workout. Teddy bear.